Going ahead and introducing the red corner first, RJ Snyder.
Live on Facebook Live for Valor Fights. I'm Vince Ferrara, cage side, alongside Bobby Mitchell, the owner and the top dog over at Rush MMA in Macon, Georgia. We're here cage side in Johnson City, Tennessee. D3 Elite is where we're at, the MMA Boxing and Fitness Strike Fest facility in the Tri-Cities in Johnson City. It's Valor Fights 51. You just heard from Shamir Peshewa, who's an active WMMA fighter here in Valor Fights, doing our cage announcing here tonight. And she introduced RJ Snyder in our first bout. We're live on Facebook Live right now for our first two preliminary bouts of the night. And then we will be live on flowcombat.com. If you are not subscribed to flowcombat.com, make sure you do so, because we've got a loaded card tonight. Those of you that are familiar with Valor Fights, you know the Valor Fights always delivers with entertaining matchups and great matchups as well. All right, back to Shamir in the cage.
Now introducing his opponent out of the blue corner, Tanner Perry.
So RJ Snyder, debut fighter, independent out of Mountain City, Tennessee, already in the cage, and coming out with a huge applause is Tanner Perry from right down the road in Bristol, Tennessee. A debut for Tanner Perry in out of Champions Striking here in Bristol, Tennessee. Our first bout presented by Corporate Clothing. It's 150 pounds amateur Muay Thai. And this matchup, RJ Snyder, a late replacement, taking on Tanner Perry, but both making their debuts. Bobby, just a quick thought on, I tell you what, Perry is stepping into the cage, so we'll get Bobby's thoughts on this matchup here too. Debuts in amateur Muay Thai.
All right, introducing first out of the red corner. He's fighting out of Mountain City, Tennessee, making his Muay Thai debut, RJ Snyder. Introducing his opponent, standing across the cage out of the blue corner. He weighed in at 151 pounds, fighting out of Bristol, Virginia for Champions Striking, making his Muay Thai debut as well, Tanner Perry. Your referee for this bout is Jimmy Neely.
Jimmy Neely, our referee, in our first bout of the night here at Valor Fights 51 in Johnson City, Tennessee. It's presented by Corporate Clothing. RJ Snyder in the gray trunks, Tanner Perry in the black trunks. 3 2-minute rounds, amateur Muay Thai at 150 pounds. And there's the bell, and we are underway. First kick landed by Perry, Vince Ferrara, and Bobby Mitchell cage side. And we already have a stoppage as they had to make sure that the second door was locked and secured, and they will restart, and here we go.
Oh, yeah. Perry's looking to immediately establish some pressure. First time fight jitters, go ahead and get him out of the way.
Snyder on the attack.
Got a loose headgear on Perry, something that seems to be pretty common on some of these first-time guys, especially early in the head pulling on, especially in Muay Thai rules. Snyder established a really nice lead side, nice catch.
Nice right by Perry.
These guys, I mean, they are swinging. Let's see if they can keep this pace throughout this 2-minute period. Got 3 2-minute rounds so we can keep this action.
Even exchange, and that's a couple shots stunning Snyder from Perry, an uppercut and a right. And again, the headgear needed to be adjusted on Snyder.
Perry's got a really open stance, lean forward. Looks like he's trying to penetrate the pocket. Something that's a little bit unorthodox from Muay Thai kickboxing. Oh, unanswered.
And again, the headgear sliding out on Snyder in the gray chunks. Perry
got a 10. Yep, we got a 10 count on him right here, standing count on him. The headgear's only become a factor so many times before they will deduct the point.
duck your head.
And Snyder ducking his head, charging in. And clinch now. And Jimmy Neely will separate the two. And the headgear again an issue, and time is called by Jimmy Neely.
You know, we run into these factors a lot, especially amateur fighters. We start to see with the headgears, it becomes a bit of a nuisance at times, but it is something that has to be dealt with. You do have to have a nice form-fitting headgear. Neely's having trouble with it himself. It does become a factor. A lot of these guys, we see this especially in IKF.
And in the more advanced Muay Thai, and we'll see some of those tonight, no headgear.
No headgear, and elbows legal. This is when it becomes a bit more real. Those kicks can be felt a lot more. It's a lot more consequential in advanced Muay Thai. This is the premature and the preliminary steps they're going to be taking to start fighting advanced Muay Thai kickboxing.
And we'll see those advanced amateur Muay Thai rules a little bit later on tonight in our card, with Christina Ricker making her Muay Thai debut, taking on Julia Moore, two experienced fighters in MMA, stepping in an advanced amateur Muay Thai bout a little bit later on tonight here at Valor Fights 51. Main event, Chandler Cole, Aaron Bush, plus Charlie Alexander and Keith Olson in our co-main event. They await on the door to close, and we're back underway, round one, and we got another stoppage. Goodness, this has been a choppy start.
This has plenty of rest for him. I'm pretty sure the anticipation's still pumping in a bit of him, but R.J. Snyder has been establishing
and Snyder,
plenty of dominance.
Snyder's strap on the back of his headgear is coming off again, but a even exchange between the two.
We got some blood coming from Tanner Perry's nose, and once again, unanswered uppercuts. He's framing his body weight pretty heavy on R.J. Snyder, and he's paying for it.
A flurry after our last stoppage, and again, Snyder head down, wild swinging coming in. So blood from Perry and headgear issues from Snyder. Actually, no, the blood is coming from Snyder. So both corners going to work. Well, how would you score that first round, Bubby?
I definitely, I'm going to tell you, R.J. Snyder was putting some length on him. Granted, you had Tanner Perry walking forward.
Let's take us through this replay here real quick.
Look at this right here. Nice rear power up top. Catches him answering his headgear. It's become a factor the entire fight. And definitely an attest to, you know, proper equipment in training, proper equipment in fighting. It goes both ways. You can't shortcut. This is your future, it's your career you're investing in. Right now, I'm pretty sure his coaches are telling him to keep the established range that he's kept. He's winning from the range. You have Tanner Perry looking to crash him. And every time he does, though, he is catching plenty of knees to the body in this process.
Yeah, Snyder had the standing count against him, plus he had the blood from the nose. So, you know, I wonder how much it's going to influence the judges towards Tanner Perry in that first round that was wild and really choppy.
Absolutely, it was a lot of stopping. We'll see how it goes now with a continuous 2 minutes, hopefully.
First kick landed by Perry.
Nice cut kick to the lead thigh. Nice lead hook.
Perry trying to get away from the cage, and he does.
We got headgear issues again.
Again, Jimmy Neely not stopping it this time. Blood flowing again from the nose of R.J. Snyder.
Got R.J.
Do not put your head down.
Corner telling Snyder not to put his head down. That's what he's doing, charging in.
Stop bleeding with your head.
And Snyder comes in again, a big overhand right. Wow.
Nice. Got the Coleman creator. He's throwing.
Put your head down. Keep your head up.
Let me tell you, these 2 minutes feel like eternity when you have especially two first-time fighters. It's eternity.
Keep your hands up, RJ.
Mouth open breathing, both fighters.
Still pawing at his face in the headgear.
That leg kick's open, RJ.
Nice uppercut by Perry.
Come on. That leg kick's open all day.
Kick to the lead leg by Perry. He hasn't really had the headgear issues.
Very nice.
Keep your head up. Keep your head
Now
up.
Perry back on the attack.
Good knee straight right.
Stay in there. Stay in there,
Neely looking close. Neely is definitely looking to protect the fighters.
Again, another adjustment of the headgear, and now the mouthpiece falls out.
Yep, Neely warning, definitely a stoppage of the fight. Once again, we talked about this with the headgear issues.
Yep.
And equipment is a factor. Just as much as the fighters have to hold up, their equipment does have to hold up, or a referee will put a stop to it.
Yeah, it's happened so much, and blood still on the face, the mouth of R.J. Snyder from Mountain City in the gray trunks. Tanner Perry charging in the black.
Keep fighting. Don't give up. Don't give up.
Oh,
Nice counter lead.
Wow.
Look, Tanner Perry.
Work, work, work.
Ooh, both throwing right hands at the same time. It's anybody's ball game with that. Beautiful tee.
Yep, straight down the middle.
There you go.
Now Perry retreating and eats some shots on the way out.
I'm going to tell you, the amount of resilience he's showing at this point right here, it's a lot of heart involved. A lot of these guys, nobody's feeling good. These guys are still pressing forward. Nice catch.
Yep. Final seconds of round 2. Big swing and a miss by Perry. Momentum almost takes him into the cage, but we've completed 2 choppy rounds. How would you score that second round, Bubby?
I tell you, I still have R.J. Snyder on the pulling end of this deal. Tanner Perry is looking really good. His coach Lynn Cook offering up some instruction over here for him. So this right here, any replays coming up right here. I want to see any. Hopefully we can get something scrolled back possibly for a headgear issue.
You see Mark Laws working on Snyder's headgear and the blood, and here's the replay. Take us through it.
Nice. Leading into him, got him staggering a little bit, hunting for his stance. R.J. Snyder walking him down. I tell you, this headgear has become a major factor in the fight. Guaranteed it will be tended to between this fight and the next fight. Has to. Jimmy Neely is definitely going to more so keep a watchful eye, and I can guarantee it'll become a factor in the locker room with checking these headgears.
A lot of cleanup on the face of R.J. Snyder from Mountain City. Tanner Perry, a lot more deep breaths. He doesn't really show any damage and looks in good shape. He is put together with the lower body.